sometime I get a little bit of feedback on the recording if it goes, and if that's the case, I'll stop what I'm doing and come back. But Mr. Chairman, if I might, if I can just give some background on instructions for how we handle the Zoom meeting for you.
Please do.
And then I'll turn it over to you and you can direct the rest of the meeting. During the zoning hearing board meeting, we are doing this virtually. There is an opportunity for people to make public comment, and there's also an opportunity for people who wish to be party protestants. If I may, party protestants usually are occupants within 200 or so feet of the property for which the zoning relief is sought. And you have been identified as people who may have impact by the zoning relief requested. And as such, you may make public comment as a matter before the zoning hearing board at the appropriate time, but you also have the opportunity to seek relief more than just being a member of the general public. You may be entitled to become a party protestant in the hearing that the zoning board is holding, as indicated in the cover letter that was sent to you. So what is the difference between a party protestant and making public comment? Party protestants have standing in the hearing, and the person making public comment does not. During the hearing, party protestants may, at the appropriate time and at the direction of the board chair or the solicitor, make an opening statement, call and ask questions of witnesses, review and or submit evidence, object to evidence, testify under oath, or make a closing statement. After the hearing, party protestants will receive the written decision of the zoning hearing board and may appeal that decision of the zoning hearing board to the Common Court of Pleas. After evidence is presented, anyone in the municipality may make public comment regarding the relief requested. So the difference is, one, you're just making comment. The other is that you actually have a standing in the case. So I wanted to share that up front. Anyone has that right and can make public comment, like I said, but party protestants are those who are directly affected by the zoning. We do take public comment during the meeting, and we usually do it one of four ways. One way is you could have dropped public comment off in the drop box outside the township. And Andy, you've shared with me that you had checked that drop box, and as of this evening, there was no information or no public comment in there.
That's correct.
I will check public comment on our web or on our email, and that is at public comment, all one word, at newtowntownship.org. Again, that's public comment, all one word, at newtowntownship, again, all one word, .org. In addition, you can raise your hand during the meeting. I do see that there are several folks, and it's a virtual raising of your hand. I do see there's several folks that are on by phone. For those of you that are on by phone, instructions were actually given as you called in for raising your hand. If you don't remember those, you can send a message to public comment at newtowntownship.org, and I would recognize you. Just make sure you include your phone number that you dialed in with, and your name, and that you're wanting to make public comment so that we can recognize you. Or if you're wishing to be a party protestant during the particular hearing. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you. And as you announce the hearings, I'll make sure we have any public comment up if we need it.
Okay, I guess we could just call this meeting to order. I know we don't usually do this, but I guess should we do a roll call just so everyone knows who on here, if they're watching this, is on the zoning hearing board? So obviously Robert Lodge, I'm on the zoning hearing board. So just if the other four want to make note. I know we don't usually do this, but since we have two new members.
Kevin Basquil.
Michael Lynch.
Joe Silk.
Ed Burzes.
All right, and sounds good. I guess we Are we doing the pledge tonight? We haven't been doing it since we've been home. Anybody?
It's on the agenda, Bob.
All right. All right. All right, then you gotta stand up then, everybody. Don't be, all right. Pledge of allegiance to the flag.
United States of America and to the
To the republic
republic
for what
for which
it
it
stands,
stands,
under God.
Under God, indivisible, with
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
All right. We gotta get in better sync with that though for next time.
It's about time. It's about
Yeah.
time.
Well, all right, so you want to start off with public hearing 6.1 Z 2020-10. It's a continuance request from Campus 11 Associates. Is there anyone here for?
This is Mark D'Amico. I'm here on behalf of the applicant.
I guess, and is this file in order for us to proceed whether to discuss a continuance or not?
It is. The application was continued on the record from last month's hearing.
Okay. All right, so you could speak if you want about the continuance.
Yeah, so may it please the board, my name is Mark D'Amico. I'm an attorney at 109 Chesley Drive, Media, Pennsylvania, and representing Campus 11 Associates LP. We're requesting a continuance this evening because one of my witnesses is simply not available. I will tell you that I've had an ongoing dialogue with the Township Solicitor Joe Catania. I believe there's actually a letter posted on the Township website under this case for this evening. It goes into a little bit of detail about the discussions I've had with him to try to resolve this matter that would result in a withdrawal of the application. Basically, I just don't have my witness tonight. We still think we can work this out with the township, but regardless, we'll be either withdrawing it or back in front of you and presenting our case next month.
I guess, Andy, is there any for this before we make any motion here? Is there any public comment or any other comments on this matter?
There was no public comment. I would ask for those who are on the attendee list, is anyone, I guess really two issues, and the solicitor, correct me if I'm wrong, should we ask if there's anyone here as a party protestant tonight since we're
I'm sorry.
starting? So if there's anyone that wishes to be a party protestant, I guess you would need to raise your hand at this time so we can recognize you.
And can we just to clarify too, this is just related to the vehicles being parked by the Porsche dealership on what, Campus Boulevard? Is that correct?
Well, I think this is actually more, I mean, there are Porsche and Andy can correct me, but I think there are Porsche vehicles, but I think there are also Subaru vehicles.
There are.
I don't know that we're gonna get a party protestant in a, I guess.
Somebody's got their hand up.
I got somebody here with their hand up.
All
Let
right,
me,
I just want to make, yeah, if somebody did come for this meeting to hear what they have.
And I'd
Whoops.
like to point out that the notice of violation was sent to the property owner on June 11th. And so this matter has been in front of the property owner and Mr. D'Amico since then. And here we are, September 17th, and we're going forward and requesting yet another continuance. I would like to suggest that if it pleases the board that, and they choose to approve the continuance, that there be a condition set that the violation be removed until the continuance is heard and addressed properly through this board.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, even if this is their last opportunity, right? No more continuances after this. Does anybody want to make a motion then with that in there?
you
Wait.
do, before you,
Yeah, do we have
do
somebody?
you have somebody with their hand raised? I don't know if you want to hear the
I
comment.
thought it went down, sorry.
I thought it went down, but it's back up.
Okay,
That's our witness, I think, from the next case.
Oh, is that your witness for the next case?
I believe
so.
so. But
Yeah.
can we let Mr. Pramabath speak?
I guess you want to just check and see, is it about this continuance for this case? I mean, I don't think-
I'll bring him in and we'll find out.
I don't think he's within 250 feet of this, so.
What was the fellow's name again? I didn't hear it. Mr.
It's-
Armorbath, Parambbath.
All right, thanks. Oh, it's on the sheet here for the next.
So this is Mark D'Amico. I just want to say that we received the notice of violation. We filed the appeal to that timely. We have been diligently pursuing through the township solicitor this negotiated settlement, and we've acted in good faith. We have had a difficult time getting a meeting together, despite our diligent efforts. We had no intention of this matter lasting this long, so I just wanted that to be on the record. I also want to say that we have no ability. These licenses are month to month, so we have no ability to terminate them before the next hearing in any event. So our respectful request is that the matter be continued until the next hearing.
I would just like to say to the board that we don't have an application for the change in use of the property at all in our files. So I don't know how that affects the lease agreement with between the applicant and his tenant.
I just have a question for, I guess, Dave. I mean, is this a zoning issue or a township issue?
It's sort of both.
Yeah.
I mean, generally for zoning continuances, we generally don't have any township officials who are involved, generally the township solicitor is certainly able to make input into these matters, but generally it's up to the overall zoning board whether or not they want to grant the continuance or not. As a general matter, I mean, we generally permit continuances, particularly when there's witness issues. On the other hand, it does seem like this has been going on a long time. So if the board is inclined to grant it, I believe this would be a last continuance.
I guess let me clarify my question. Is the underlying issue, I mean, I read the whole file and all that, obviously, but I mean, if they're having negotiations with the township, like I have no problem with the continuance. If you want another 30 days, get the cars off, like Andy said, that's my personal, thing, opinion on it. But if is the underlying issue something that's more appropriate to be dealt with by the township versus us? And I don't know, truly.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure, please.
So this is the reason why it's before you is that there's a violation of the zoning ordinance of the township. The reason why, if there was any agreement that I believe would be being made, is that we have, when Subaru was doing their construction, we made some, we kind of looked the other way while they were trying to take care of their cars. They actually came in and got zoning relief they were before the zoning hearing board when they came in, and because they had cars parked over at Garrett Williamson. And so they came in, they took the steps. There was temporary zoning order that you all issued to allow them to be able to do that. The township's concern, to be totally frank and honest, relationship to this has to do with the Subaru dealer having cars parked at this location. We knew the Porsche cars were there for a temporary basis while construction is going on. I mean, we do believe that they should have come and gotten zoning relief to do that. But the bigger issue is related to the Subaru cars that are parked there, because Subaru is now complete.
So again, I mean, just, okay.
So it is a zoning issue. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah.
before you.
I think,
Uh,
so we're just asking we're not having this case right now, right? Because then we would go into the detail about what exactly
just
they're
here-
asking for. They're just.
We're
they're
just here for the
looking another 30 days.
continuance.
Um,
Do the Parent Baths have anything related to this case? Because you had your hand raised, that's why.
You're muted. You need to unmute yourselves, please.
Still muted.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I apologize. This is the first time I've ever used a Zoom meeting. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the reason we're in front of the board is our property right now is a flagship property, and we would like.
Well,
to-
no, wait, I just so you don't go into that, you had your hand raised for a case we're discussing right now, not your case.
Oh, I
okay.
apologize. I apologize. I was just trying to figure out how to join the meeting.
No, that's fine. We just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure you didn't have any issues with the case we're discussing right now, so.
No, not at all. I apologize.
All right, then we'll come back to you.
I mean, I'd be inclined if anyone wants to make to grant a continuance, but that this be next month. It has to be dealt with month. We can't keep giving these continuances out. So
Yeah, I'm good with
Anyway,
that.
I agree. I mean, just in terms of impact, I think if this were still, Andy, because I know you're, concerned about their lack of application process. Like if this was still at Rite Aid and there were still parking cars at Rite Aid, I'd be like, show up or shut up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's surrounded by residential area. I run by there all the time, and I'm fine with the continuance. If as long as the next one is kind of it.
So, Dave, what wording do we need there for that? So we're saying if we're granting a 1 month continuance for Campus 11 Associates, but that's a final continuance, or what kind of wording do we need for this?
Yeah, must be tried, must be tried.
All right, so
And
this,
we want to grant it to a date certain to next month.
the dates are of October 15th, so.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to approve the continuance until October 15th, but it's going to be listed as a must be tried, so. Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, so we'll see you on October 15th.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, everybody.
you're welcome.
All right, let's move on to 6.1, 2020-12. Is that Mr. and Mrs. Perrenbath? I'm gonna butcher this, Perrenbath. But I see it's not both of you, so if you guys can unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
And could you put your names on the record, please?
Yes. My name is Matthew Perrenbath, and my father is with me, Mr. Verghese Perrenbath, and we live at 522 Media Line Road.
And do they need to be sweared in, Tom?
Yeah, okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Andy, is the file in order?
Yes, it is.
Do we have any party protestants on this case?
I don't see anyone raising their hand.
I guess there's no letters related to this, we said, right? Nothing in the mailbox.
Nothing. And I just checked the email and there was nothing in the email.
All right.
All right. So you guys can go ahead, put on your case. Let us know what you're asking for and why.
Yes, so at our property, we are on a flag-shaped property. So only a small portion of our property is on the Media Line Road. And we're set behind, I believe, 520 Media Line Road. And the issue we're having is our neighbor's fence is in disrepair and dilapidated. And he, we don't really talk to him too much, but what ended up happening is instead of replacing or repairing it, he ended up putting another fence, a newer fence in front of it. So now that the older fence that's now rotting is now falling onto our property and looks quite unsightly. So what we were hoping to do is put up our own privacy fence without disturbing him to cover up that unsightly fence, and that's what we're asking to do.
So is it because their fence is coming into the front of the property too? Andy, is that what we're,
Yeah, what are we deciding against? Or for?
yeah.
So is your neighbor's privacy fence, is that large plastic fence along the road there, the driveway there?
No, so that's actually an interesting story. So that white privacy fence, the reason that was put up was at one point on behind that again is that same wood fence that was again coming apart. But for some reason, without us even ever disturbing him, he wrote on top of that big wooden sign, "Keep out," across the entire thing with big white paint for some reason. We've never been on his property and we don't disturb him because anyway. So what ended up happening is because of that big lettering that he put without any, so we just put up a big white privacy fence to cover that unsightly writing up. Now, again, in our front property, he has that same old wood fence, but now that fence is now rotting and falling onto our property. And we kind of just want to cover it up just like we did with that white fence that's going down our driveway.
So he has this is actually his backyard fence that's dilapidated, and he put a new fence up in front of that.
Correct.
And now you want to put a fence in between the dilapidated fence in his property. So
on our front lawn, to cover that up.
Yeah, it's your front, but it's his backyard. Andy, is there is there anything zoning wise if this guy has a old broke down fence, has a new fence up and just left that there, if that's on his property, or is there nothing that can be done for that?
Well, no, I do think that we can address it through a property maintenance violation.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, that's that's
certainly
unsatisfactory if your lack of upkeep is impacting your neighbors and actually making them go out of pocket to fix something or to, cover something.
There's a property maintenance.
I don't know if you guys, I'm sorry, we did try to send the pictures, but I doubt you could see that. I did email to Kathy, but there you go. Those, a bunch of pictures like that.
So that's the old fence, and he just put a fence on the other side of this?
So if you look through, if you look through that, you can see multiple layers of fencing.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the old fence is just going to be like sandwiched in by two new fences?
No, so in front of all those wood fences, probably maybe like 6 to 8 inches, we want to just put up that white vinyl fence coming across. And the main issue we're doing it in that sense is because this guy has a tendency for retaliation. So I'm just trying to do it in a way where we can just separate ourselves as much as possible because he's not really a very friendly person to begin with. So in all honesty, I just kind of want to not have to deal with him in a sense, is the reason why I'm going in towards that direction.
I'm sorry if I'm just confused. I mean, it sounds like is there any new fencing locations being added, or this is specifically going where this existing fence is? Is that correct?
No. We're not touching his fence. So
I get that. I'm just saying you're basically running a fence along the exact same perimeter of where this old wooden fence is right now?
Correct.
Not adding any new sections of fence. It's just going to cover what's there?
Well, they're adding their fence.
No, I know that, but I mean, they're not suddenly saying, hey, we have a straightaway here and then making a left turn and adding a whole new section of fencing.
No. It's just a straight run, covering up his full linear length of wooden fence to the end of our property.
On the side, there's already vinyl fence. Is that right? On the one of the driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out there yesterday looking at it. And so how tall is that driveway fence you have right now, that vinyl fence?
It's 6 foot.
Okay. And are you proposing 6 foot for the back fence too? So it's the same height?
It's that same white fence. Yeah, we were going to use the same product coming across the back. I mean, to cover up that
wood fence. Just, would you say?
I would say it's roughly 6 foot also. Is it? Yeah, it's roughly the same height. The white fence, the posts, the height of the post would be slightly above that. But the fence itself just covers his wood fence.
Who owns the vinyl fence along the driveway now? Him or you?
Who put it up?
You own the vinyl fence along the driveway?
Correct.
Yeah, it's on their property, all right?
I guess I'm
And
just,
I'm sorry, just to clarify, is the concern that this new fence would be, seen by the neighbor here and, an obstruction, or is the concern that it takes you past, I guess, where the property limits allow you to per the rules?
It's because it's in the front yard, right? They're coming here because they want a fence in their front yards, which by default, they're just putting another fence in the backyard of the neighbors, correct? Andy?
Yes, that's correct.
Mhm.
do you have any,
But
do you have any
they're here
concerns?
before you because it's a front yard fence.
I mean, it's seeming like, I think this could be resolved with a zoning violation, but it doesn't sound like that's the way they like to go. I mean, is there an issue with this, Andy, any issue with this fence, or does anyone else have any comment about it?
I don't.
I don't know if I understood the question, but I do think that we can send a notice of violation to the property owner at 520. But it would be a property maintenance violation for the care of the existing fence.
But is that what they're trying to avoid doing too, though, so that they don't rock any boats, mentioning retaliation and worrying about annoying a neighbor? Is that correct? Matthew, is it right?
Yeah, well, the main issue is I don't think he would be willing to do it in any form of a satisfactory way or in a way to actually make it look better. You'd probably try to do the bare minimum or do something like, in other words, like at one point he was putting out keep out signs all along that fence. Like he would put a ladder up, and keep this in mind, we've never been on his property. We don't really have anything to do with it. And he would put up signs saying keep out, and just
and black painted.
And just make it just do unusual things to make it very unsightly, even though we don't even go towards that area that much, because again, that's at the very front end of our property. So I would doubt that he would replace that with a new fence. And on top of that, I would think that would increase tension between the neighbor and us, because at the same part, for some reason, he has some form of a grudge towards us. I think he didn't like the fact that the property was built behind that location, behind his property to begin with. So since we moved in, at no point was he ever friendly, even though, we haven't really done much of, we just stayed in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but whose property will be between the two fences?
Well, actually, will be this, right?
Well, whatever, not our
Yeah,
worry. I mean, it seems like this will be
Are they going to be
more,
able to, are they going to be able to maintain that? That's what I'm,
this will be more aesthetically pleasing to anyone that has to look at this. I mean, I don't have any issues or additional questions.
No, I mean, listen, I wouldn't want to look at this fence either. I mean, I think that is a whole maintenance issue anyway. If that you have a half broken fence and you put a new one up next, right in front of it a few inches. I mean, with looks like some bamboo or some other stuff on there. I mean, it's unsightly, but.
Yeah.
And this is also about 200 or more feet of this going across our entire front lawn. It's a pretty large length of fencing too.
Okay.
But I guess that is a question. How close is it going to go? Is that going to end up being a problem, that putting a third fence in there with overgrowth, or is there going to be any issues like that that would run?
I'm sorry, I apologize. One issue is also because that fence is in such bad shape, it's leaning quite heavily into our property. So the base of it is, at one point, and then the very top, because it's been, not maintained, is I would say be leaning out probably maybe like 12 to 15 inches. So I would probably try to keep it, at a point where we can put our fence vertically plumb without disturbing that fence.
But who would maintain in between the fences, the grass or whatever growth?
Create quite the gap with that sandwiched fence in the middle there.
Right. Who's cutting the grass between? Yeah.
I mean, essentially, each property owner would be responsible for their own portion of that property.
I guess what happened, what do we have here? If this rotting part of this fence in the center here, is that going to fall and damage your new fence you want to put up? I mean, if you're putting this vinyl fence up, I mean, I don't know if that's an issue of concern right now, but
I mean, that is an issue, but I didn't know how to address that, to be honest. I figured just set my white fence for, like, you know, it's kind of like what we did in the driveway. I was going to set it just far enough where it's not disturbing his fence, but at the point where we can run our fence straight. Ideally, what I was thinking of also doing was just pushing his fence straight and tying it up to the other fence to try to make it somewhat plumb so that we can run our fence straight. But again, I'm not trying to disturb his stuff as little as possible, but it is leaning quite heavily.
Is that neighbor here? Is he part of this call? Is he a party protestant? Did he identify himself or anything?
I don't think anyone identified themselves as party protest,
Right.
but
All right. Then in that case, I mean, I make a motion to approve case Z 2020-12.
all right, is there a second?
I second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, can we just say your name after you say aye, just so they have it on the record? I don't know, because that was all at the same time.
Hi, Joe Silk.
Aye, Kevin Baskell.
Aye,
Lynch.
Ed Bursner.
All right, aye, Bob Lodge. All right, so.
Thank you.
All right, motion approved. I don't know if that's something that Andy wants to look into later about this fence or this issue. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to be looking at that fence either, but I don't know if that ends up being a concern. But I guess we can move on to 6.2 Z 2020 Sharon and Edmund Gaffney.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome. See you guys.
I'll make sure I process your permit in the next day or so, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Andy. And if you don't mind, if I have any questions in regards to the installation, just to make sure, you know, we're not stepping on any feet and doing it appropriately, would you mind if I reach out to you, Andy?
Not a problem at all.
All right. Thank you so much.
Not a,
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Andy.
have a good night.
All right. I think we have to close it.
All right, good evening. I'm Brian Madsen from Omni, representing the applicant. We're the civil engineers for the project.
Mr.
I also
Mr.
have
Mattson,
the,
before you go any, Mr. Mattson, before you go any further, I'm going to actually promote you to be a panelist. If you'll just give me a moment.
all right, hi, I'm Brian Madsen from Omni, representing the applicant. We're the civil engineers for the project. The owners are also on this call tonight, Edmund and Sharon Gaffney.
Do
We
we
also,
need to, are they going to testify? Do we need to swear everybody in or just?
and they're available for questions if needed.
I guess, Tom, just to be safe. swear
Okay.
everybody-
Okay, to all of you. Okay, go ahead.
This is Ed Gaffney. My wife Sharon is not on.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, do you both swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you very much.
Andy, is the posting file, everything in order?
Everything's in order.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mattson, go right ahead.
All right, we're the civil engineers for the project. Our address is 211 Walsh Pool Road, Suite 210, in Exton, Pennsylvania. I'm a licensed engineer in the state of Pennsylvania since 2008. If it's okay, I'll get started with a brief description of the project.
Please.
All right. All right. The applicants are the legal owners of the property located at 515 North Newtown Street Road. The property is a 2.5 acre property located in the R1 residential district of the township. We're here tonight because we submitted an application to the zoning hearing board to request a variance from code section 172-104.a to replace the existing fence along the frontage of the property. We submitted electronically a set of exhibits that we can discuss tonight. The applicants had submitted a grading permit application to the township for improvements to the property. The overall project includes improvements to the property, including additions to the building, patios, and a relocated driveway. The project also includes the replacement of the existing fence along the frontage of the property with a similar fence. The purpose of the fence is for safety purposes. The site is located on a busy road, State Road 252, and the fence provides safety from kids running into the street. State Road 252 has a speed limit of 50 miles per hour. Yes, if we could show sheet 1 of the plans. All right, thank you. The sheet shows the existing conditions for the property. The lot currently includes a 2-story dwelling with pool, patios, and a driveway with access to Route 252. It also includes an aerial photograph of the surrounding community. The red hatched areas on the plan are features that are proposed to be removed as a part of the project. This plan also shows the existing 6-foot fence that's currently located along the front of the property.
What kind of fence was that,
Plan
sir?
also shows, I'm sorry?
You mentioned a type of fence, did you say?
You said 6 foot.
Yes.
Is that,
Yes, they,
Okay, thanks.
sorry, yes, the existing fence is 6 feet tall.
Okay, thanks.
And the plan also shows the property to the northwest, which is 517 North Newtown Street Road. The plan also shows a portion of their fence that's also located along the frontage of their property.
I mean, we're just here for the
We-
fence tonight. Do we know what type of fence you want to replace this fence with?
It'll be a similar style fence. It'll be a similar style fence, 6 feet in height. It'll be like a rail horizontal fence with openings in it, similar to what's there now.
Is it going to be in a different location other than obviously the driveway entrance, or if you're moving the driveway? You
It's
said,
the, the driveway is being relocated. So the fence will remain along the frontage of the property. The configuration changes a little bit with the proposed driveway location.
Okay.
But you're essentially looking to change out the fence to a new fence, but similar style and follow similar path other than the driveway.
Correct.
Nope.
If we can.
Do we have, Andy, if they're just replacing, really, are they replacing an existing fence, or does this need to come before us in theory?
It does.
Okay.
Our zoning code speaks to whenever a fence is removed and replaced, it has to comply with the current requirements of our ordinance. However, we've dealt with many of these similar type of applications, especially along a busy road like this. My main concern would simply be to make sure that the fence is not impacting the right of way or any clear sight triangle to driveway.
Yeah, so the new fence will not impact the right of way, and it also will not impact sight distance. So there is
Is it-
adequate sight distance.
Is it
Yeah.
going to the same location? Is it set back farther, closer to the road, or about the same current location?
It's being moved roughly 2 feet closer to the road.
The applicant will agree to those conditions if the board so approved. No site obstructions and no violations of the right of way.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, all right, so I guess does anyone else have any questions at this time, or?
If you moving it 2 feet closer to the road, is that put it in line with the neighboring fence? Is that why, or?
It's still about 1 foot further away from the road than the neighboring fence. The neighbor's fence is about 9 feet off the road. We're proposing to put the fence 10 feet off the road.
Okay.
And Andy, that stays at all the right of ways on that road. Is that correct? Is 10 feet? Keep it
Well,
off?
I believe the plan that's being shared will identify or does identify the right-of-way line.
Okay, and is that, all right.
Yeah, so the new fence is about 5 feet behind the right of way.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, you may, I don't recall us asking if there was anybody who wanted to be a party protestant related to the case, and I did see a hand raised that went down, so we may want to check that out.
All right, yeah, let's see if we have any party protestants or public comment.
If at this time you wish to be a party protestant or, okay, I see one here. Hold on a second. Oops. Ms. Hanold, I believe if you could unmute yourself. There you go.
I didn't know I could, I was been trying to get on this call for 45 minutes. So, my main concern is the water management. Is that going to be discussed at this time?
No, this is just about this fence. I mean, Andy, do they still have to go for the other approvals for this change in the driveway and any approvals?
All the improvements, I believe Mr. Madsen had mentioned the fact that he had submitted a grading and soil erosion permit that's being reviewed by Stantec. That'll be addressed by them during the review process.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so that will be addressed, but that's not for this addressed at this time.
Right, as long as both neighbors get the notices of these, I'd appreciate that.
Can I get her name again?
I just want to, I'm sorry, if I may make clear, this project wouldn't constitute land development, so there won't be a public hearing about the improvements or the stormwater management system.
How does that get addressed?
It's addressed by the township staff. So in other words, our engineer will review the plan and make sure it meets the required stormwater management requirements of the township. Mr. Redsek, as our building code official, will review the plan and make sure it meets all the building code requirements as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
And her name again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is it Ms. Hanhold?
And Mrs. Hanold.
Yeah, would you please give your name and address for the record?
My name is Pam Hanold, 501 North Newtown Street Road. The adjoining 2 lots are mine.
Ma'am, is it Pam, P-A-M, you said?
Yes, Pamela
And last name again, spell, you don't mind?
Hanold, Hannold.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Does it, anybody else, any questions or any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
So,
He just
sorry.
muted himself. So Kev, you're muted.
I know, I'm good now, sorry. I'll make a motion to approve application Z 2020-13.
My second. Joe, Silk seconds.
With the two conditions, gentlemen?
With the conditions that it's not going to obstruct the view or in the right of way.
Correct.
Yeah, line of sight and, yeah, right away. Is there a second?
My second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye, Joe.
Aye,
Aye,
Bob.
Kevin Basquel.
All those opposed? All right, the motion passes. Good luck with the fence.
Did you,
Thank
Thank you, everybody.
Mike, you vote? I didn't hear you. Did you say yes?
Yes, aye.
Okay, thanks. I'm sorry. Everybody's 5-0 then, I guess.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's it for the night then. Thank you, everybody.
Guys.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
Have a good night.
See you later.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
You too. Thank you.
Good night.
Get out of there.